I wanted to show you how to start the RV and how to drive off. And since I'm parked on the street, I like to put a couple of cones in the front and the back as well. And also, I'm parked on an incline, so I like to use some wheel chocks, which I'll remove later as I get going. But a good idea before, no matter how many wheel chocks you use, put the set in front by your entry door so you won't forget. You'll get reminded. So let's get inside and see how this thing works. So here we are inside our 2006 Country Coach Affinity, ready for takeoff. And as you may imagine, procedure is a little bit different than starting a car. It's not just start and go. So here's a couple of steps you need to follow, or you should follow if you're driving a big Class A motorhome. We have a couple of lists before and after travel, during the camp and setting off and dismantling things. In this particular case, I know what is all involved. It's a straightforward procedure, so we're not going to be going through this list extensively, but normally this is like a checkbook that the airplane pilot would go through. For this purpose, we're just going to start an engine and go over a couple of things just to see how that works out. So just on a funny side, on a funny note, this is the key that starts $700,000 motorhome back in the day when it was built. So I know today is more of a technology push button type of thing, but these two key, of course, the bigger one is the car door locks, but the smaller one starts the engine. So here we go. So first thing to do is, of course, we insert the key and we turn the key to the on position. The dashboard will lit up. We'll wait a few seconds depending on the outside temperature and whatnot, and when the lights go out, we can crank the key and the engine comes to life. Now you are not just ready to go. Depending how long the coach has been sitting, you have to wait for air pressure to build up. The sweet spot, you have two readings, two air pressure meters. About 125 psi is a sweet spot where you want to get going, because this coach rides on air suspension and you're using air to brake, your air brakes. So you need to have a good pressure before you can start driving. So with any diesel, you need to warm up the engine quite a bit, maybe 5 minutes or so, depending on the weather and how long it's been sitting and whatnot, before you're ready to go. In your transmission setting, this is a 6-speed Allison automatic transmission. You don't have, in the panel, you don't have a P as in parking. Your parking brakes look something like this, just like on the semi-trucks. It's an air brake. You pull or push. That's your engage or disengages the brake. So when you get going, you will put the D, push the D as the drive, R as in reverse. There are a couple of settings on different mode the transmission can go, but basically I'll show you how that works. My camera setting, now I can see that I have two cones on the back. I know I already have two, and I know that I have two in the front. So as the engine is warming up, about 600 RPM is the sweet spot that engine is running. While I'm waiting for engine to warm up, I will go outside and remove my cones and a wheel chock while the engine is warming up, and once I get all buttoned up, we'll be ready to go. If you look at the gauges, the air pressure, the temperature, is still cold. It's always just good to have it running for a few minutes to get the lubrication system going. Another important things with these type of units with the motorhomes, this coach has automatic leveling system, HWH. That is used for not just driving, it is also used for leveling coach, obviously, so you can open the slides, of which I'll show you a bit later. So intention of this video is just to show you the startup procedure and how you get going, because it's a little bit different than driving the car, and then we'll get her going pretty soon. So while the engine is warming up, I'll go back outside do another walk around. Obviously remove my cones and put the cones underneath and remove the wheel chocks. Just check for maybe lower tire pressure or anything else sticking, anything unusual. It's always good to do a walk around. I drove the coach yesterday, so I kind of know. I don't expect anything. I already done that. Already done walk. I'm just kind of waiting for engine to warm up. All right, here we go. Ready for takeoff. Everything is warmed up. Coach is buttoned down, so we're ready to proceed. Foot on the brake. We engage the drive. It's in the 6th gear, and we release the brakes. All right, all the dashboard lights are clear. We're ready to go. My right side camera is engaged with the right directional. Just going down the street in my neighborhood. When driving the big motorhome like this, this particular unit has a 3-stage exhaust brakes, which means I can brake, slow down the vehicle just by lifting a foot off the gas pedal. And there's the settings where I gauge that, and when I lift the pedal, the dashboard shows that air brake is engaged. When I accelerate, the light goes out. So it's a way of driving in the city where to minimize the usage of the brake. For example, I'll lift the pedal now. There comes the light because I'm going downhill. So if I want to accelerate, I press on the gas or pedal. There we go. So it drives very nicely, very smooth, but it's a slow and sluggish, but you do feel the power, and it is fun. Just a view of the rear view camera. No one behind me, so we're gonna pull over. Okay, so we arrived at destination. So I am on the brake. I use the tag axle lift to make it easy to maneuver. The rear axle will lift, therefore allowing it movement on the parking lot, backing out and whatnot a little bit easier. So I'm gonna disengage that. That's that light, and put the coach in the neutral. Engage the brake, and the coach is now secured and parked.